Yo, welcome into Inside the Lines, baby. I got my partner Vance. It's your guy Dino here. Y'all know what time it is. Y'all see the title. Y'all see what's going on. And AFC East battle, Vance, 3-24. The
Feels good to be
Patriots got
back, man.
ran over. Yes, I mean it's a long time no see, but hey, look, we're gonna keep going. We're gonna keep going live. We're gonna keep talking about these sports. We got some great games on Sunday. We got some college football tomorrow. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So we gonna be on. We're gonna be talking about it. But first off, AFC East battle. The Patriots usually dominate the AFC East, but the times have changed. They were dominated for 15 years, so times have changed. Aaron Rodgers looks like a different guy, does he not? He
He
looks nice
does.
now.
Keep in mind though, and I'm not gonna crap anyone's parade. That's not what I do. I mean, I did a radio show yesterday. You called in and I said this. My goal is not all to rip on quarterbacks. Aaron Rodgers looked good. It is against the Patriots. Now, this is not the Tom Brady led Patriots.
Exactly. That's the
Yeah.
point.
He and Josh
Yeah,
Allen are like the big dogs. Brady's gone. It is the Patriots again. They looked okay against
exactly.
my Niners. They looked okay last weekend. Aaron Rodgers looked great yesterday. Again, he hasn't over 300 yards in about 2 years. But it's a good. But as you would always say on the radio show, a good game's a good game.
Yeah. Hey, it's what surprised me was the mobility. I think everybody was surprised to see Aaron Rodgers get out the pocket, lay
Yeah,
some dimes, throw some touchdowns. And his first ever touchdown to a first round receiver, Garrett Wilson, bro. And it's kind of crazy. He's throwing 525 touchdowns, and his first one is to Garrett Wilson in the back of his career. And it against to a first rounder. I feel like it was surprising to see him on the
first
move.
one to a
His
first.
offense looked very
That's
good, bro.
nuts. His first
Yeah, that
touchdown to a first rounder. That's nuts.
I that's pretty insane to me. I mean, to
Ohio
for it
State
to
kid,
come on
yeah.
that could tell you how terrible the Green Bay drafted was, trying to get my man some help, Aaron Rodgers some help.
Or
You know what
how
I'm
good
saying?
he made, or on the other token, how good he made low or late round receivers look.
Exactly. And this defense, hey, the Jets defense getting back to what I know the 49ers, that's the 49ers. You know what I'm saying? Can't nobody really come toe to toe with Vance's team. 49ers himself, Vance. You know what I'm saying? They're just
Not many
dominant with
teams, yeah, yeah,
whoever you have too. Like a running back coming out of nowhere going for what 146 on the first week.
yeah.
I mean,
First career start, yeah.
Yeah, so it's kind of crazy. That's just the 49ers, but against the Patriots, a lot of people are going to be good against the Patriots, but the Patriots just came off beating the Bengals. They don't look like a horrible team, but the Jets just came out dominant, and Jacoby Brissett was getting beat up. You seen him hurt almost all game, getting up slowly. That defense got after him,
Yeah, it
and
did.
health too. Ramondre Stevenson leaving halfway through the game with injuries. Really no dominant wide receivers. If I can't name one off the head, man, I can't name a receiver off my head that the Patriots have. But I'm glad to see the Jets doing their thing. They had to get that. That was an important win again. I don't want to
Yeah,
see you don't want to see the Jets coming out here and
no.
struggling against the Patriots. That would be pretty bad. 27 for 35 for Aaron Rodgers, 2 TDs, 281 yards passing. I mean, he looked good, man. He looked good. Still like he
He
still
looked
still
really
got some
good.
win in him.
The one
He
thing
looked
I
like he
will
still got
say,
some win in him.
I talked to a friend of mine who's a huge Patriot fan, and he goes, in a way, I'm kind of happy that the Jets didn't have Hassan Reddick because it might have been worse.
And I'm surprised they still haven't paid the guy. Down the stretch, Hassan Reddick is going to be a problem for the Jets because yes, they got great pass rushers, but adding Hassan Reddick will be dominant. So I don't know what they got to do to get Hassan Reddick signed, but they got to figure
Do
that out.
something.
And the problem I'm having with Hassan Reddick is, dude, you're missing out on so much money. He's losing like $5 million every time he sits and doesn't play.
In
You know
fines,
what I'm
yeah.
saying? Yeah, it's like he's accumulating so many fines. It's like, man, get your cheddar cheese. You know what I'm saying?
But I think
Don't let
another
that.
thing is, where do you stand on this? Again, I know you're not a big holdout guy, but does Hassan Reddick has said he wants to be a Jet. I don't understand if there's a money issue because they haven't really given us much. Is it a money issue? Is it
I,
years? What is it?
it's it's got to be, it's probably a money issue and years. You don't want to sign a 2-year contract. You know what I'm saying? You want that long-term deal. And Hassan Reddick is worth it. He's putting on display.
Absolutely.
He's had multiple double-digit sack years. So I'm not understanding why we're having a problem paying him. Y'all, Aaron Rodgers, Jets. Y'all, well, it's not Aaron Rodgers' fault, but the Jets just pay him. You know what I'm saying? But look, the Brees Hall touchdown, Lazard quick screen touchdown, Garrett Wilson touchdown. Offense looked pretty good. I know Salah, Aaron Rodgers looked good. You know what I'm saying? It was a little miscommunication between the hug. If
I
you
did see
seen
that. That was awkward.
little miscommunication there with the hug, but hey, they explained it at post game and they got it done. And I don't know who they have next week. I don't know who they have next week, but hey, they're starting to get it going. I don't know. I don't know if they can make a run. I don't know if they could get some wins down the stretch and make a deep playoff run. What do you think, Vance? You think they can make a deep playoff run?
Um, I'm on record saying that the Bills win the division. I do think the Jets make the playoff run. So we got to define something here because you're my football guy. When you say, do you mean AFC title game or bust
Well, like
or
a playoff run, a playoff run. Do you think the Jets can
no?
make a play?
But I'm saying how far is a run? Like, is that AFC championship?
AFC
No,
championship.
no.
Can they make the? So what do you think? You think they make the playoffs and
Yes,
round their
playoffs.
out?
Yes, my AFC title game. I think the Chiefs and Bills is going to be my AFC title game.
Yeah. These three teams in the AFC, I think, even though the
Baltimore could
Ravens
be
are
in there.
starting,
Cincinnati could be in
yeah,
there.
yep. Even though they're starting 0-2, hopefully my team can get a dub against Cincy, but who knows? Uh,
If I
the
would have,
Jets have
yeah,
the Jets
I
have the
would,
Broncos next. They could get another dub.
yeah. So this is the thing that I always find really interesting with the AFC North for some reason. If I would have told you, I have the stuff put up on my phone right here. I want to actually tell you something. If I would have told you going into the season that in the AFC North, the Pittsburgh would be 2-0, Cleveland would be 1-1, and Baltimore and Cincinnati would be 0-2. But I didn't give you the teams. Like I said, two teams would be 0-2, one team would be 1-1, one team would be 2-0. No one would have thought that the two 0-2 teams would have been Baltimore and Cincy. No one would have thought that.
And no one would have thought the Vikings would have came out and been 2-0, and the Saints coming out 2-0, and it's looking like a different era of football. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They got CJ Stroud coming around. The Saints are looking back to
The
Drew
Saints
Brees
are like
esque era.
the Saints are the best team in football. There's no question. Right now, they're the best team in football. They blew out the
Yes, sir. Yes,
Cowboys.
sir. Yes, sir. But yeah, pretty boring game to finish it off. Like the Patriots could have gave me something on Thursday night. That I don't want no 3-24 on Thursday night. We got to
What
get
was
better
the
prime
what was your
times.
did you lose a parlay or something?
Oh no, most
Oh,
definitely.
okay.
If you're a betting man, you was going Jets all the way. No way. The Patriots don't have Tom Brady. That is over. Those decades of Patriots running through the AFC East are done. It's Dolphins and it's the Jets
Josh Allen and his Bills.
and Josh Allen. And I mean, I forgot to lead. I don't want to leave them
He's
off
won.
there. But
They won four in a row.
but the Patriots are trying to figure out what they got. Drake May in the preseason looked like a very great player. Drake May actually got into his first regular season
He
game.
looked okay yesterday.
Yeah. I mean, it's not a lot of time for him to really do anything out there and actually get a rhythm going. But if Jacoby Brissett and this offense puts up a lot of games like that and it starts to get bad, I say throw Drake May out there, let him get some regular season
I
experience.
said
And
so. I'm with you 100%. The one thing I will say is I was talking to a friend of mine who is a diehard New England fan, and he said the earliest I would start the kid would be week 5 is what he said. Against the
Yeah,
Dolphins, because 2 is out, he goes, if the
it
earliest I
makes
would
a lot
start
of
him is
sense.
week 5, because you don't want to play him against my Niners. You just don't.
Yeah, after the Niners, maybe they get them after the bye week. I don't know when their bye week is, but
Their
after the
bye
bye week,
week
maybe.
is
But it depends on what this offense does, or does Gerard Mayo get some wins up under his belt early, like he beat the Bengals, or does everything implode like they did against the New York Jets and it just goes south and it keeps going south? And then you got to try out some of these quarterbacks you got on your roster. You got to try out Drake May. You got to
that
give
is the
Joe Milton a shot. Joe
that's a
Milton
really
had
good
a great
question.
preseason.
He did. That's a really good question because did I expect the Patriots to beat the Bengals? No. But I think even more than that, even though they lost, they took the Seahawks to overtime. They lost 23-20.
Yeah.
I didn't expect that the Bengal game to be close and they beat them. So
Yeah,
I
yeah.
don't know
And
what
then,
I
like
was
you said,
expecting.
they took the Seahawks to overtime, and Seahawks got a great team. You see what DK had done. Smith
Gino,
and
yeah.
Jigba look very well these past couple weeks. So hey, look, the Patriots and Gerard Mayo, he's here to stay. I would say this team in a good future. They got to get rid of some of this Bill Belichick, what he kind of left behind in the roster, whatnot. They had to fix it a little bit. No disrespect to Bill Belichick, but he wasn't a great GM.
No, he
Let's put it
wasn't.
out there.
He
He was
won a
not
lot
a
of
great GM.
championships. He won a lot of championships. There's no doubt about
Yeah,
that.
yeah, I give him a lot of respect, but his
Yeah.
GM status is not up there. But
No.
this team in the near future could be back to good, not dynasty esque, but it could be a very mediocre team to talk about down the stretch. But our next segment, we got panic or patience. Is it panic or patience if the Ravens lose to the Dallas Cowboys, Vance? What do you think?
I know it's early, but I'll say panic just because they shouldn't. They're a better team. They're better coached. They're a better, in my opinion, they have a better quarterback. They have a better coach. There's no question in my mind on Harbaugh. Receivers, I think CeeDee Lamb might be the best player on the field. But I think if Baltimore does lose, I will say panic. I know it's only 3 weeks, but you can't be on 3.
I would agree with you because it's a small percentage for you to make the playoffs if you start 0-3. I know this is
I
a
saw
great
that
team.
too. Yeah.
I know this is a great team with Derrick Henry and some of these fast guys and Lamar Jackson. I know this is a great team in this defense. So the corners are very liability. We got to get the corners have to play better with this Ravens team. Uh, the constant pressure against the O line and Lamar taking too many hits. They got to find their identity. Like I said on your radio station yesterday. Shout out to Vance and his radio station. Y'all check it out. Uh, we talked about how they haven't found their identity. You don't know if you want to pass. You don't know if you want to run. You don't know what defensive scheme or what's your best way to play defense. So it's like if they come out here and the Cowboys, because the Cowboys need a win here. They just got ran over by the Saints.
Yes,
They
they
just got
did.
completely ran over. And the Ravens are 0-2 right now. So these are both hungry teams looking for a win. And it could go either way for me. But if the Ravens go 0-3, we're talking about panic, panic, panic button, bro. I'm panicking. I'm with you on that. All right, Bengals. If they lose to the Washington Commanders, baby. If
Um,
they lose to my Commanders on Monday and they fall down to 0-3 against the Washington Commanders, is there panic here, Vance? Is there panic?
I want to say no, but yes, because of the same reason. You have a rookie quarterback. They have the better quarterback. No slight to your team. They have there's no just Burrow's a better quarterback. He's been a Super Bowl.
Most definitely. I agree.
Um, again, the fact that the stat that you just gave, it's hard to go 0-3 and make the playoffs. I think if you're the Bengals, you go out there and you ramrod these dudes. You show them what you're made of. You show them why we think Joe Burrow is worth 275, 55 a year, $275 million. You
Making
go
a
out there and you
lot of
show them
money,
why.
making a lot of
Yeah.
money. So
If I'm,
I was
yeah, it's It's panic if they lose, absolutely. But I will say it like this: I expect Cincinnati to win. I expect your team to play well.
Yeah, yeah. I think it's a bunch of rust here. And what I mean by rust is Jamar Chase holding out. Joe Burrow's coming off an injury, out for what almost the whole year last year. T. Higgins not getting the money he deserves, and I just feel like it's the Bengals being cheap that's holding them back from winning games. I mean, pay these guys the money that they deserve, as in the
Absolutely.
weapons around him. Yes, Joe Burrow, you pay him. He's a sensational player, but we're not going
Gotta
to
play
look
T and Jamar.
yeah, we're not going to look over the injuries this guy has
No.
had. You know what I'm saying? So he did had injuries. You still pay him. Jamar Chase, injuries here and there, but he's been fairly healthy. T. Higgins been fairly healthy. And for them not to pay them, and then we got these holdouts, I think there's a lot of rust here. I'm not going to panic on the Bengals yet. They got a lot, it's a lot of season in front of them, just like the Ravens. But we've seen this team in between September to October to December. This team is not matched.
No.
They get wins in the stretch. So I wouldn't panic on the Bengals yet, but if you lose to my Commanders, who have, like Vance said, a rookie quarterback, first year, looking pretty decent. Uh, DB core is sorry. We're getting burnt left and right. We got backups out there. We got rookies out there at DBs. So I think Jamar Chase has a field day. I don't want him to. Remember, I'm Washington down, but if I'm a betting man, you better bet on the Bengals to win.
I
I
will
mean,
say, staying on the game. Yeah, you're a Washington fan through and through. The thing I like with you though is you're honest. You
yeah,
rep your team,
I
and
got to
there's
be
no
honest.
problem with that. But the one thing I will say is, as an Ohio State fan, and I know you've seen him in the pros. I watched him in college. It's not the same. If Terry gets loose, he's a problem, dude.
That's the thing. We got to get the ball to Terry more often, more times. I'm honest. I'm not a Cowboy fan who thinks they're going to do something every year and you're mediocre. But I I actually see the real. This team is better than my team. They should win on Monday night. This is prime time in Ohio, not in Northwest, whatever they trying to call our stadium now. Which is
you're in your backyard. Yeah.
yeah. You're in your backyard. You're in Ohio. You got the advantage here, and you got to get it done. No matter what, you got to get this win. I can see where somebody could say panic, but I won't hit the panic button on them just yet. Okay,
Oh, can I
Caleb
ask you quick
Williams.
before we move on?
Okay,
I got one question for you. Realistically, what is a low end and a high end record for your team?
uh, I would say about.
Give me like
I would say
high and low end.
we've
Yeah.
been we've been losing for a while now. We didn't had shoot. We got Jaden Daniels, second overall pick in the draft. I think we had 4 wins last year, and we were expecting to get more than that last year. So I would say at least 9 wins. 9 wins is good. If we miss the playoffs, cool. We got another year to develop Jaden. Put some more weapons around him. We can't be throwing to Zacchaeus and and Martavius Bryant, who hasn't been in the league for 6 years. You know what I'm saying? Like we
Yeah.
we just don't have we have Terry, so double him. He's not getting the ball because he's doubled, and we got let's just lean on Austin Eckler and Brian Robinson, the good guys that we have on Austin and on offense, and let Jaden Daniels run. That's what he wants to do. Let him run. Our our identity is run the football, and that's what we should do on Monday night for the Bengals. Just win. Whatever you got to do, just win. Or
Just win.
Ohio, they might
Yeah.
they might they might turn it upside down to Ohio if y'all lose to Washington. I
I
bet you
mean,
that.
I don't know this personally, but I have family that live in Cincinnati, and one of my family members goes to college there, and he's gone to some Bengals games. From what I've heard, there's nothing like it.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
get after it there. Yeah.
Yeah, I know it. Loyal fans. So Chiefs, very loyal fans. Bills, very crazy fans. Eagles, they're very crazy. If stuff doesn't go their way, they're boo-hoo crying. Caleb Williams, is there a panic or patience with Caleb Williams, Vance? Do you got is it panic or patience for Caleb Williams coming up?
I'm going to tell you what I said to you on the radio show yesterday. Now, people can hate me. I don't care. I'm going to say panic only because we're moving on from young quarterbacks quicker than ever before. And the reason that I said this is because he called in yesterday and we talked about this for about a half hour. I say that to say, look at Bryce Young. I get he's 5'10", 180 pounds. I understand that. You and me I'm 6'1.5", 6'2". You're like 6'3". We're tall guys, right?
Exactly.
Look at Jordan Love. Sat for 3 years. Look at him now. Brock Purdy, an anomaly. Jalen Hurts, an anomaly. Like all these guys that are really good as first years, it just doesn't happen. But we also move on from guys quicker than ever. So yes, Caleb should panic, not because he's not good, but because teams are willing to move on from young guys so quickly. And one thing I want to touch on is I don't think he's the first rookie to get a passing touchdown. I think your guy is.
Yeah, we're still looking for some rookies to get some passing touchdowns. It's been
I think
lower
your
than
guy will be the
ever.
first. But I think, yes,
Yeah, but
Caleb panicked, not because he's not good, but because they move on from young quarterbacks in this league so fast.
yeah,
If you don't produce right away. And the one
and
thing
then
that
and then with
the
this, and then
talent,
with this, Vance, you gotta have time to throw the ball to get a passing
yes.
touchdown.
The O line is iffy. But everyone, you know what the thing I don't like, the like apologists. So like, well, Caleb's got all this talent. I understand that he's got Roma Dunze, who's hurt, Keenan Allen, who's not healthy. He's running. I get it. He's got all these great players. There's no questioning that. But I think what you just said gets so overlooked is the fact that you got to have time to throw. People rip on my quarterback, Brock Purdy. Oh, well, he's got time to throw. That's the goal, is to give your quarterback time to throw. Since when has that never been the goal?
Yeah,
Like they're like, oh,
yeah,
Brock Purdy's got like I hear this all the time. I know you hear it too because you watch sports talk just like I do. Oh, Brock Purdy's got Trent Williams. He's got a great O line. That's what good teams do. They have a good O line. It's not
and
his fault. Our O line's good.
they build great players around their great quarterback. That's what you do. You build a good team. And that's what they tried to do with the offseason. And they put a lot of money into these receivers. And like what the Chargers did, they got rid of Keenan Allen because of what, Vance? Injuries.
Injuries
And he is injured. You the best availability is
is
availability, and
availability.
Keenan Allen, you're not out there. We can't take your advice on the sideline. Yes, I'm getting a video. I'm seeing the videos with Keenan Allen on the sideline trying to give him advice. But your best advice is you on the field. We need Keenan Allen on the field for Caleb Williams, and it just hasn't been that. O line looks horrible. The two right tackles are just the worst duo in football, letting the most sacks so far. um, yeah, man, you can't be
There's
throwing to
no
the
yeah. Go ahead.
you can't be throwing to DeAndre Carter and expecting things to get done. I mean, DJ Moore, I can see the frustration. You get rid of a good quarterback, and Justin Fields, move on from him fast, thinking that Caleb Williams is going to change your world, and they got humbled really fast. You just can't replace a quarterback and thinking it's going to be the same when you still got the same sorry players on the same team.
I'll give you a prime example of you said having time to throw, having a good O line. The example I gave, and I remember when it happened, you and I agreed the Trey Lance deal when we drafted Trey Lance, right? You and I both. I didn't like the draft pick. You didn't either. You even told me ahead of time that's who they're going to take. I thought so. From what I had read, they wanted Mac Jones. Got talking to Trey Lance, and I think you had told me on the radio show like they're taking Trey Lance, and I was like, no, they're not, and they did, right? The one thing I will say is when I mentioned having time to throw or being ready at the NFL level, he's a prime example. He was behind a great O line and still couldn't get the throw off. Caleb was the number 1 overall pick behind a subpar O line and can't get a throw
Yep.
off. Trey had time to throw and couldn't get it there. I think
Yeah.
that what you just said is such a good point. Yeah, you have the line. Yeah, they're football players. They're all good, but there's a reason that there's a reason we know who Trent Williams is. We know
Yeah.
who
You gotta bring some
Uh,
veteran guys
yeah,
in. You gotta bring some guys, some actual, and you gotta draft right. Just because you bring in these high names and these Keenan Allens, you bring these high names in thinking
DJ
it's going to get
Moores.
done. I mean, it's more to that. It's
Yes.
organization, it's coaching, it's and when it comes down to it, is if you can run the ball and can you block? Can you run the ball and can you block?
Let me ask you a
That's what it
question.
comes down to.
Let me ask you a question. You're okay. You're Ryan Poles, the GM of Chicago, right? What are you? Because offensive guy. What is your if you're for like meetings, right? If you're the GM, what are you telling Caleb? Do you like go out there and try and make something? Because it's not college. He can't run around and make something happen. Like, what do you tell the kid to get his confidence there? Because at USC, he was just so much bigger and faster. He would just run around for like 10 seconds, make a play, and throw it down the field. You can't do that in
Yeah,
NFL because you're a grown man.
and there's a big difference between college speed and NFL
Absolutely.
speed.
So
Everybody on the field is all Americans when we're talking about NFL. There's everybody's is a high tier, high caliber player.
and they're
If you're a
grown men.
starting, yes, if you're a starting player in the NFL, you are the best player in the world. You're one of the best at that position in the world. So
Yes.
for you to think you're this superhero trying to dance, but he has to dance with the old line he
He
has.
kind of has
But
to.
if but answering your question of what I would tell the GM,
If you're
I
the
would.
GM, what are you
I
telling
mean,
Caleb?
if I'm the GM and I'm telling Caleb, I don't know if he might even listen to me after what CJ Stroud tried to talk to him. I don't know if he walks away from me after what I tell him, but I would tell him honestly, keep doing what you're doing. Things will get better. Get into a rhythm. Find things quickly. We can't he likes to like you said, he likes to do magical things, and that's just not the case. We seen you in
No.
preseason do that magical things, but there's a difference between preseason and game time speed. You feel me? So this offense needs to find quick slants, quick bubble screens, uh, it's some outs. You know what I'm saying? Get them in a rhythm to start, and then maybe you can find something down the field. But
If you can take a
this
shot,
offense,
take. If you can take a shot, take it.
yeah. If you could take the shot when it's there, but make the good decisions while you're doing it. Because
Now yeah. Now before we
yeah,
go on, the one thing I want to touch with you, I don't mean to interrupt you, but the one thing I want to say is with you mentioned CJ Stroud. That came to my head. We talked about this on the phone yesterday. I think another reason that people are so like not as lean on these young QBs is because of something you said on the phone yesterday. CJ Stroud gave an unrealistic expectation as to what a rookie can do. He had a mind blowing rookie year, got his team to the playoffs, beat the Browns in a playoff game. Everyone thinks they got the next CJ Stroud. Well, there's only one. He went to Ohio State. I watched him. This kid
that's a
went the
different
hell
type
off.
of player, man.
I watched him. He was ridiculous. But there's only one. He's 6'3", 230, big boy. Everyone thinks this is my thing. We've said this when we were on the show together. I've said this. I don't like in sports, whether it baseball, football, basketball, hockey, right? When they say, I want to
Yep,
find the next Michael Jordan or LeBron James. No, find the next you. You're not LeBron. You're not Michael. You're not Steph. You're
exactly.
like be who you are.
And
Like everyone's like,
develop.
I want to find the next CJ Stroud. There's only one CJ Stroud. I understand that you want to find a player like him, but be who you are.
Exactly. Exactly. We need to find development in these quarterbacks. You can't not everybody CJ Stroud, but
No,
talking about young quarterbacks, is there patience or panic for the last one for your guy here, Bryce Young? Is there
panic,
patience or panic
panic.
for Bryce? Is there a panic here, Vance? What do you see here?
Yes, there's a panic here because you and me discussed this yesterday. I think you said it best. I think you said you had seen a picture that we had talked about.
Yeah.
So explain that, and then I saw one too, but I want you to go first.
Well, I'm kind of forgetting, but I seen a
Okay,
video where
that's what
he's
it was. A
just
video, yeah.
oh yeah, the book bag with him walking and him walking
Yeah,
into the training camp, and he just looks like he's getting ready for schools to play with his Legos. I mean, there's a lot of size difference here. There's grown men on this field. I, I'm I'm panicking for Bryce though. I'm not saying I'm against Bryce. I'm panicking for Bryce because uh this Panthers organization, oh my gosh, flush them down the toilet. They might need to be removed. They might need to be removed because for you to expect a young quarterback who's going through different coaches and different offensive schemes and different players are having to try to perform with this offensive line who's standing behind him every time I look up. Um, like I said, for you, there's good quarterbacks who are small, like Drew Brees, like Kyler Murray's, like Russell Wilson's. At times, you know what I'm saying. You can get it done short. So I don't want to hear it about the shortness, even though it's a big thing.
It means
But I'm
something.
just not seeing. I'm just not seeing enough out of Bryce. I'm not seeing enough
A
touch,
hundred
enough
percent.
yeah, like I need to see more. I actually need to sit down and watch a Panthers game. I'm not sitting down and watching Panthers games to see if Bryce is actually doing good. So I just need to figure out what is he seeing. What is because I'm just not seeing no flashes. I need to see a flash. I'm not seeing any flashes of what this guy has.
Yes. His confidence looks gone, first off. His confidence looks gone. And then secondly,
Yeah.
I saw a picture. I told you this on my phone yesterday. I saw a picture of him and his O line, and the O line was so much bigger than him. All you saw was his like legs and feet. Like you couldn't see his torso or his head. He was like swamped by his O line. He's 5'10", 180. I was listening
I
to a
believe it.
an NFL scout. He was talking about at the combine. He didn't have a pro day at Alabama, but at the combine he was 200 on the dot, and then he ran to the bathroom, and they think he threw up. They think he was like water. They think he was just like it was water weight trying to get to 200 pounds. And the
Yeah.
one thing I'll say is we talked about this yesterday. Short quarterbacks. He's 5'10". Now Drew Brees was short. He was 6 feet tall. Now Russell Wilson 6 feet tall, short. This guy's 2 inches shorter than a short quarterback. My dad's
I
5'10".
mean,
I'm
and I'm not
6'2". You're
seeing no.
no.
And you know,
I'm 6'2".
With
You're
Russell, he's
6'3".
kind of
We're
massive,
recess. Yeah, Russell's a
and
big guy. Drew Brees,
and
every huge arm.
yeah, and Kyler Murray, fast guy. He can get out the
Yes.
pocket in a flash, make something
You
happen.
and
You know what I'm
me,
saying?
you and me are like the ideal height. You're 6'3", I'm 6'2". That's what you want your quarterback to be, that or above. And
Yeah,
I think
yeah,
the
yeah,
thing with Bryce Young, I don't know if you've seen this, but I was watching some clips, man, just to be fair to the kid, because I knew that we were doing this today. Just to be fair to the kid, I was watching some clips. His confidence looks gone. Is that his
yeah,
fault? Is that David Tepper? Is it the coach? I did say this yesterday. I do think the reason he's benched is because of the new head coach. So obviously Frank Reich drafted him. Frank Reich is no longer there. They have Dave Canales on a 6-year deal with the Carolina Panthers. Dave Canales was the quarterback coach for Tampa, helped bring Baker Mayfield, helped bring his career back on track. Same thing with Geno Smith. So he knows quarterbacks. So I do think there's a little bit of he doesn't feel obligated to play Bryce because he didn't draft him. Frank Reich did.
yeah. But
I'm trying to
the
be fair though. I'm just trying to be
yeah,
fair.
yeah. But you bring in a guy like David Canales to develop Bryce Young. You don't bring him to develop Andy Dalton. You
Yes.
don't you don't bring him in for that. And
Maybe
then like you
he sees
said,
something we don't. Maybe he
yeah,
sees something we
and
don't.
and then we already talked about this. You don't go as your head coach, you say he's our starter. This is our
Yep.
guy. This is what we're moving forward with. I think they went back. The owner, David Tepper, who is in the running for the worst owner with Dan Snyder. He's in the running. They're both running, and who's going to win this race? Dan Snyder's in first place, but David
It's a
Tepper,
race you don't
you're
want
not
to
that
win.
far behind. That's what I'm saying.
It's a
You're not
race
that
you
far
yeah.
behind, my guy,
And you
because
know
the
this.
team
It's a race you don't want to win.
exactly. And then you give up all your stars, you give up all your draft picks, you give up
DJ Moore.
assets to bring in Bryce, which nobody thought that Bryce Young was going to come in and change the Panthers' history.
No.
Nobody thought that. We knew it was going to be development. We see the short, the his body, the short arm. He doesn't have really that getaway speed. He doesn't really have that deep, crazy arm. So it's like you got to develop guys. But
I think a thing
we
you said
thought we were
yesterday,
done.
yeah, I think you said on the radio show yesterday was very accurate. You said they gave him no chance because his best weapon, DJ Moore, out of the building.
Out of the, what do you want him to do? We're
Adam
talking about
Thielen,
30-something-year-old Adam Thielen. His days are done. This guy's days are done.
Adam Thielen's a
I
great.
mean,
He was a good player. Don't get me wrong. With Minnesota, you had a young player in DJ Moore who was a deep threat. He's now with Caleb Williams.
and
So
and then they bring in and then they draft Xavier Largent, which he's a rookie. He's not.
Xavier
It's not
Leggett,
like they
yeah,
got. Yeah. You. It's not like you brung him in and he's like a Devontae Adams. No, he's still a rookie, just like Bryce Young. Like you need veteran wide receivers. You need some good talent. He needs a great running back. You know what I'm saying?
yes.
Somebody to take the load off of him and try to, you know what I'm saying,
Let me
make something
let me ask
happen,
you
make
one
something
here.
shake.
Let me ask you a question. If you're Carolina, we had talked about this. There had been a rumor I had heard that if Bryce Young, or not Bryce Young, if Tua retires because of his concussions, does Miami pursue Bryce Young? Because again, he'll have weapons galore. You got Waddle,
Let's talk
you
about
got
it.
Tyreek. My God, like
Let's
again,
talk about it
Tua's not
because
retiring. We don't know if Tua's retiring. We don't know that. We have no idea. But I'm thinking realistically and saying if Tua does retire and you're Miami with an offensive coach, with those weapons, with Devin A. Chain in the backfield, where he Mostert's hurt now. He's always hurt though. He's hurt with the Niners.
yep.
Is it out of realm of possibility to say that he's done in Carolina? I want your input because you know more football than me. Am I crazy to think he could be done in Carolina very soon? Or will he play? Will he start again? What
It's
do you
kind of
think?
it's kind of shaky because I feel like he's going to play again. This Andy Dalton thing, I don't think is going to he might play a little better because Andy Dalton's a veteran quarterback. He's been in the league for a very long time,
Yeah,
and he's been looking to play again for a very long time. So I'm gonna see there. You'll probably see a little bit of fire come out of the red rifle. You feel me? So you might see a
yeah, a
little
little
bit of
bit.
yeah, you might see a little bit of fire come out of him and see something a little better than Bryce, but it might not amount up to wins. Let's be real. Andy Dalton's
I
days
agree.
are done. Andy Dalton days are done.
I
But
think I said this.
as in Bryce's future with the Carolina Panthers, I need to see him with somebody different. Put him under a Sean McVay. Oh my lord, he will flourish. Put him under put him under
Kyle Shanahan.
any anybody else than David Tepper. Put it like that. Anybody else than this Panthers offense in this Panthers team. Because
You know what I
you
would be
look here
intrigued
left,
to see? Yeah, I don't mean to cut you off. You
you're
keep that
good.
thought. I got a really good one. Deshaun Watson's not playing well. We know that. Him on Cleveland.
Deshaun Watson is in a bad spot right now.
Bryce Young on
And we could
Cleveland.
Bryce Young on Cleveland. Think Bryce Young will play better than Deshaun Watson. I
Two-time
know I
coach of
might
the
sound
year. Yeah.
some some people might think I'm crazy, but Deshaun Watson is going through down a hole that he just cannot come back from. He has another
Lawsuit.
thing investigation lawsuit against him
Yep.
because won't stop touching people. Stop touching people.
Play
Like you're
football.
an NFL quarterback.
Play
You have
football.
millions of that's what I'm saying. You have millions of dollars over way too much money guaranteed for you. There has to be females falling at your knees, but you to go out and do these types of stuff is kind of crazy to me. So we can honestly see Jameis Winston might play for the Cleveland Browns down the stretch if they
That's
can't
very.
turn it around.
That's not crazy to suggest, though. That's not at all. I We were talking. You said this yesterday. You said 2020 Deshaun Watson is gone. MVP
He's
caliber
gone.
Deshaun Watson is gone.
He's never coming back.
Now,
He's never coming
no.
back.
But as much as it hurts for people to hear that, you're correct. I don't wish bad things on Deshaun Watson. What we saw in 2020, we're not going to get again. We're just not. He
Never
looks
again.
like a different quarterback.
Never
But
again.
where do you stand? If you're Cleveland and you see Deshaun won't cut it, say it's a year from now, 2 years from now, Bryce Young with that coach, two-time coach of the year, with Jerry Jeudy, Amari Cooper, Nick Chubb, David, like all this, David
I,
Njoku, all those boys. My goodness.
I think you start Jameis Winston and then trade for Bryce. Just let the QB room be like that and see who wins it out. Because it might honestly with Bryce Young, I might could see a Sam Darnold situation. Sam Darnold coming into
Agreed.
the Jets, very bad team. I'm not putting it on Sam Darnold. He was playing a little bad, but that Jets team was terrible.
No
Just
all
like the
line.
Panthers. Yes, just like the Panthers. And now he's finally getting a shot with the Vikings. And now it's looking up and up for there from there with Sam Darnold. And I can see that with Bryce Young if he gets into the right situation. But is there panic? Is there panic for the Philadelphia Eagles if they cannot get this win against the Saints coming up on Sunday?
I'll let you go first because we talked about this yesterday. I'll let you go first.
Ah, I mean, if this guy can't catch the ball, maybe they can't. Maybe there is panic because we brung you in. I mean, the Eagles. I'm saying we. They brung you in. You scored 3 touchdowns, and then the next week we can't find you. We can't. I mean, he had a. I'm not gonna say he had a bad game because he had a good game. But you have to make. This is why we bring you in to make plays like this. This hits you straight in your hands. It's a first down in the game. I get
Yep.
Nick Sirianni. Run the goddamn football. Get out of there. Yeah, they will beat. They will beat. They're not. The Falcons are not scoring in 30 seconds. Even though I have never seen a drive like that from Kirk Cousins in my life.
The
That
one
was
thing
a
I've learned,
magnificent.
yeah, the one thing I've learned from you, there will be no Kirk Cousins slander.
No Kirk Cousins slander, baby. And after that win, he is still winning games for Washington, baby. Shout out to Captain Kirk getting that dub. I was excited for that win. Hopefully the Falcons can
So
can
yeah,
can defend the nest.
so panic or I think panic only because I've heard some stuff about the quarterback and coach not getting along, and Nick Sirianni having this really like thinking he's bigger, like better than he is, or like having this big head or whatever it is,
He
like
tries to
inflated
outcoach
ego.
himself.
Yes,
He definitely
I
tries
think
to
he
outcoach
I
himself.
think he thinks he's smarter than he is.
Yeah,
Now, what I
yeah.
will say is,
Like Dan
okay,
Campbell.
yes,
Like sometimes Dan Campbell can outcoach himself. Like,
overthink it. Yeah,
yeah, overthink it, go for it. Oh, we're not going to kick the field goal. Like, no, just run the ball, kick the field
do what
goal,
you
let
know
them
to do.
go, let them go 100, 75 yards down the field and try to score a
I think
touchdown on the Eagles defense, who I didn't think was playing really that
no.
horribly. I didn't think they were
So
playing that bad.
I say panic because I think I said this yesterday. I think Nick Sirianni personally is on the hot seat. And I think you agree with me because of the fact that outside of 2022, they started last year 11. They started last year like 11-0, or like 11-1. Then the Niners roll into town and beat the ever living hell out of you, 42-19. Beat the hell out of you. Ayuk had the game of his life, and then you lose like 6 of your next 7. Like it was bad.
Yeah,
It was bad.
yeah.
So in that regard, I do think it is panic. But I want to ask you: do you think Sirianni is on the hot seat, or do you think he should be, or is, or
Eh,
not? Like, what do you
I
think?
feel like every coach is on the hot seat with the Philadelphia Eagles fans. I mean, if they go
Still,
10
yeah,
wins straight, you're feeling yourself. I can't stop hearing you. And then once there's a little bit of struggle going on and you don't know about what your DBs are doing or something like that, then you're automatically on the hot seat because that's just how Eagles fans are. I think the Eagles fans are one of the worst fan bases out there who don't actually have patience. Like
no,
they have zero patience out
but they
there
are
in
they are
Philadelphia.
loyal. My God,
Yeah. But I get the playoff loss, Buccaneers playoff loss. You should have probably beat Baker Mayfield, even though Baker Mayfield, since that playoff game, is looking outstanding.
really good.
And your defense is still it's starting to become a problem. It's still these same questions here and there. Can Jalen Hurts get it finish games? Can he get the ball downfield? Can we stay healthy? AJ Brown out for this game, and Devontae Smith nicked up here and there. You know what I'm saying? the Eagles just got to stay healthy. Nick Sirianni just needs to stop trying to outcoach himself, and then they'll probably get a win against the Saints. I think the Saints, sometimes you got teams who are up here and they need to be brought down here, and I think the Saints will get brought down in just a bit here in this NFL season.
Because you can come from
Um,
a neutral perspective, I want to ask you a question because you can come at this neutrally. You don't like the Eagles, you don't like the Niners either. So you can come at this from a neutral perspective. I'm biased, so I'll give input, but I want you to go first because I'm biased. I'm a Niner fan. Do you think the Niner game, something happened with the Eagles? Because we rode into Philly and put an ass whooping
y'all,
on them.
you ran the
I don't
y'all
mean to be
ran them
rude. We
completely.
put an
No,
I don't mean to
no,
be rude. We put an
you
ass
put an
whooping on
ass
them.
whooping on them. And since last year, it's like they're in the past. They're still holding on to the Super Bowl that they didn't grasp, that the Chiefs beat them on. And I just think they need to just let go of that. Let go of the past, move forward, keep leaning on Saquon. Even though he dropped the ball, yes, he should be criticized. We're being light on Saquon. But you you bring him
We're being
in to
fair.
do things, make plays, but don't don't hit the panic button yet on the Eagles. It's
Okay.
just the Eagles fans they just need to shut up. Let things happen out. You have a team that actually can make the playoffs. I am a Washington fan.
And you're
Be
admitting that.
grateful. Be grateful.
Yeah,
You know what
you're
I'm saying?
admitting that. I think
Because if I had Saquon and I had Jalen Hurts and I had AJ Brown and Devontae Smith and I had Darius Slay, man, I'll be cheeks to cheeks, ear to ear.
you might have a ring.
That's what I'm saying. So I just think they're just ungrateful. I think they're just an ungrateful fan base, and they're always booing for no reason. Um, we got some baseball here.
All right,
Shohei
50-50.
Otani, 50
First
50,
50-50,
baby.
first 50-50 season in the history of baseball. So for those who don't know what a
So
50-50 is, it is 50 home runs and 50 stolen bases in a season. Shohei Otani did that last night. It actually happened during my radio show, which was actually crazy. I found this out after the show. I found out that he had done, or I would have broken the story on air. But so he had 50 home runs, 50 stolen bases, never been done before. And I said this before you called in, Dino. I said I think out of the next 10 years, I think 6 to 7 of those years, Otani NL MVP, Aaron Judge AL MVP. Like it's gonna be like nuts. Like these are two of the
yeah,
best in the world in their prime right now. Never
and
been done before. I think Otani is just, and he's not doing it right now, but he can pitch and he can throw 100 mile an hour. This
and
kid is
it's
special.
yeah, and it's great to see him doing that. And he had the problems at the beginning of the season with his agent stealing money from him and stuff like
Oh, that
that.
was bad.
You know, you know what I'm saying? That was a bad little start off for news. And Shohei's a quiet guy. He don't want to be in the news for nothing unless he's hitting baseballs out the stadium. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's a good thing to see him break a record like this. And where do you rank him a top five all time? Do you rank him top five, top 10?
Not yet.
What do you
Not yet.
not yet? Not
When
yet.
his
He has a lot
career's
to do or
done,
what?
soon his career is done. What I will say is he's the top two player in baseball right now. When he's not pitching right now because he blew his elbow out. When that is healed, or if that ever heals, if he ever pitches again, I think he'll be the greatest two-way player ever. Babe Ruth used to do that, but that was the 20s. I think he's on his way to being
Can
the
we
best
can we
ever.
see this guy in the World Series? Can we see do you want to see Sohei in the World
My
Series, baby?
dream World Series, yes, is Dodgers Yankees, and this is his first time in the playoffs because he's with the Dodgers now. One, the ratings are through the roof because it's New York and Los Angeles.
Exactly.
Otani
You
and the
need that.
Otani Judge World Series would be next level because Dino knows this, and some of you listening that might have heard us before. I love baseball. Dino's a Nationals fan. He got to see a Nationals World Series. Football's more your thing. I love baseball. I grew up playing it, played it my entire life.
Yep. This is the guy. You
Uh,
need any baseball advice? This is your guy,
yeah,
Vance.
a
My guy.
Dodgers, a Dodgers Yankees World Series is. I think if you're a baseball fan and you don't, and your team's out of it, whether it's Pirates or Marlin, whoever it is. You should want what's going to be best for baseball. And I'm a Yankee fan. Hate me, I don't care. What's best for baseball is a Yankees Dodgers World Series. The two best players in the world facing off is what you should want. You should want the
And that
two
could bring
best guys.
baseball back. That could bring
Yeah,
baseball to the top. That could send
absolutely.
baseball
Because I've said
across
this.
the hemisphere.
I've said this. The 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 best era people will say was the steroid era in the 90s. But those same people that say it was the best era simultaneously want to forget that steroids were a part of baseball and the home run chase when Barry Bonds at 73 home runs, a single season home run leader, all-time home run leader, Sosa and McGuire hit 70. The same people that say the steroid era was the best also want to forget it. I don't like that because while I do think Barry Bonds should be in the Hall of Fame, he never got popped for drugs. You can tell he did it. His head filled with fluid, his head expanded. There's no denying that. If we're going to say that that's the best era, just embrace it. We get it. There was drugs involved, cattle steroids, ended up in front of Congress. I understand that these things are bad, but you're not going to tell me that and then simultaneously act like it never happened because all the money you made off of it, if you really believe it was not good for baseball, if you're Major League Baseball, you're the old commissioner, Bud Selig, are you going to give all the money back that you made? No, you're not. You're not going to do it.
No, not at all. Not at all.
So stop denying it.
Yeah, and I feel like baseball would, and I've been seeing it. Baseball would do anything because I think a lot of teams be cheating, a lot of shit, agents stealing money. I mean, I'm seeing
Yes.
baseball in the news for everything. Holdouts.
Other than
You know what I'm saying?
baseball.
Yes, that's what I'm
You
saying.
you
But
see baseball in the news for things other than baseball.
okay,
Like,
hey,
think
look,
about this.
we're
Think
going.
about this. The 90s, before we go. In the 90s, Yankees were, because they won like 4 titles in 5 years. It was the number one talked about sport. Now, if you watch First Take or any of these shows on Fox Sports, the only way it gets talked about is Ohtani and Judge doing something nuts. Like, we don't talk about it anymore. We just don't.
We don't. We don't. We don't. But
Arch
we're
Manning.
going to end it off. We're going to end it off with some trivia. I got some trivia for you,
All right.
Vance. I'm
All
gonna
right.
name a list of things. You tell me if you're a fan or if you're not a fan. First, we got Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson. You're a fan of that or you're not a fan of that?
I've said
Give me a
this
reason.
because I'm a fan of it for one reason. I'm a huge boxing fan. Most of my dad and I grew up watching boxing matches. I'm a big light heavyweight fan. Mike Tyson, Evander Holyfield, Lennox Lewis, all these boys, right? I'm a huge boxing fan. Jake Paul, I'm ashamed to be from the same state as this guy because he's an idiot. Through and through, he's an idiot. But I'll put it like this: people that tell me that Jake Paul's gonna murder Mike Tyson, he's gonna beat him. My dad said something to me a couple months ago that put it into perspective for me. Because yes, Mike Tyson's 58 years old. He is also a 5-time heavyweight champ of the world. Secondly, my dad put it like this: an old lion is still a lion. This dude, if he gets a shot on you, he can hurt you.
He still has power. I've seen it. He
I've
still
seen
has
some
power.
videos. Mike Tyson, if he gets the right shot, I get he's 5'9". If he gets the right angle on you, he could damn near murder you. He's still
Exactly.
an old lion
Exactly.
is still. This dude has ridiculous power. An old lion, he's still a lion though.
I would say because I'm being some trivia here too. I'm not a fan. Like you said, Jake Paul is very young. Mike Tyson is just very old, and that's what it comes down to for me. He's 58. He shouldn't be fighting, not taking any type of hits to the head, because
He's
you're very.
still a beast.
But he's very in shape. I see he's in shape. So, and like I said, he's a competitor. He's going to come out and fight the way he needs to fight, and we got to see Jake Paul go down. Like I'm tired of seeing him standing up. Tom Brady should unretire. Fan or not a fan?
Not a fan. Stay in the booth. Only because you don't. He's been out of the league for a while. I get it's Tom Brady, but you and I know this. Father Time's undefeated. LeBron is kind of defying it, but as much as we love LeBron, it's going to catch up to him too. I don't. You might not like me saying that. Father Time is undefeated.
So do you think? Do you think Tom Brady? So you think Tom Brady can't come to the Raiders and make an impact? You don't think he
I'm
can make
not
an
saying
impact?
that. I'm saying I don't think it would be like a Tampa
Ideal?
situation. I don't think it would
Yeah,
be first year there, go out there and hoist a trophy. I don't. I think
yeah.
he'll be
I would say
good. Don't
not a
get me
fan
wrong.
too.
Yeah,
I would say
I
not a.
think.
I would
Yeah,
say not a fan too because it's 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 time to move on. At a certain point in time,
yes.
it's time to move on.
You got a
You're
huge
almost
deal with
50.
Fox. Like, do
Yeah, yeah.
I think he could be good, but he won't be Tampa Tom. No.
Exactly. All right, LeBron James and Bronny James teaming up. Son father duo. Fan or not a fan?
I'm a fan of the of that. I'm not a fan of him getting drafted for the name. I'm a fan of the duo because of the fact that we're gonna know who he is because of his dad. His dad is the all-time leading scorer. His dad is ridiculous, 6'9", locomotive coming at you when he dunks. Right. I'm a fan of seeing those two play together. The one thing that I'm hesitant on is he averaged 4 points in college, didn't start majority of the time.
Yeah, that's a lot of shakeup
And the
on
NBA
his
and the
side.
NBA is a lot faster. I get that he has his dad to teach him things, but he can't teach you mid game. He just can't.
Yeah, that is a fact. I would say I'm a fan too. I'm a LeBron fan myself. I like to see, you know what I'm saying, because a lot of people say, "Oh, it's just because it's his father." Yes, it's because it's his father, but you like to see, you want your father to do that. Say I'm the son of LeBron James, and I want to be in the NBA. I want you to try to get me in the NBA.
You
So
got a hell of a reference. Yeah.
yeah, so the hell with anybody saying that. Okay, next, Shador Sanders and Deion Sanders as quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys, and Deion Sanders as the head coach of the Dallas Cowboys. Fan or not a fan of that?
Well, that's more wins for the Niners. That's disaster waiting to happen. I'm just being honest. I don't. I have no problem with Deion Sanders. Here's my. I'm gonna be honest
So
with
you're
you.
not a fan? Not a fan?
I'm not a fan, but I'm gonna be fair here. He played for the Falcons. Brought my boys a ring. 1994. Last time we won a ring. Bought the Cowboys 3. But Colorado has made a lot of noise for a lot of the wrong reasons. They got blown out by Nebraska. They've made a lot of noise. Warranted. I get it. It's Coach Prime and Shadur Sanders and Shiloh. I get it. But if you're Dallas, the head coach and quarterback are not your biggest problem. You and I know the biggest problem, and we can say it, and we know it because we're not Cowboy fans. The biggest problem is Jerry Jones.
Oh, most
If we're
definitely.
if we're being
He's always in the
honest,
way.
which you and I are, they're in your division and they're our rival. We know that the biggest problem is not the coach and quarterback. I understand that they underachieve in the playoffs in the last 30 years. I understand that. You get that too. They're not the problem. It's Jerry Jones. So am I a fan of this? No, because I don't think anything changes. I honestly don't. I don't think Shadur Sanders will be a great NFL quarterback. I want to
I,
prove, and here's the thing: I want to be
yeah,
proven wrong. Prove me wrong. I want to be wrong. I don't like any quarterback to fail. I just don't think Mike McCarthy and Dak are the problem. I think it's Jerry Jones.
yeah. I think it's Jerry Jones as well. I would say that I'm not a fan because I'm a Washington fan. You know what I'm saying? I hate anything that Dallas Cowboys got involved, but ticket sales would be a fan.
Oh, they
You
go
know what
through
I'm
the roof,
saying?
dude.
Ticket sales will be this the stadium would be sold out. Deion Sanders at head coaches, Shador Sanders at quarterback. Oh my
Yeah, I
lord.
think another thing
Okay.
though, I think another thing is we're assuming that Shadur falls to the Cowboys.
Yeah. Most definitely. But I think he's Travis Hunter is
He'll
going
go
top
first overall.
10. Shador Sanders is going top 5 for sure.
I think, yeah,
I don't
if
deny
Dallas
that.
is a top 5 pick, okay. I don't
Yeah.
think if assuming he falls to Dallas, if you're match made in heaven, it's a Sanders and Dallas. I don't think he falls to Dallas, assuming Dallas is going to be okay. If they're 9-8, he's not going to Dallas.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Okay. We got three more left. Arch Manning at quarterback for Texas. Fan or not a fan, as starting quarterback for Texas.
I'm
He's
a fan,
starting
dude.
now. So you,
I'm a fan. My favorite quarterback of all time is Eli Manning, and I've said
yes,
this.
sir.
My favorite quarterback of all time is Eli Manning that I've seen play in my lifetime. All time, it's Joe
Hey,
Montana, but
Eli. I don't like him.
that I've seen play in my lifetime is Eli Manning. My all time is Joe Montana. I'm a fan for one reason. He looks a lot like Eli and Peyton, but he can move. Did you see the
Yep.
stat the other day? He ran
I seen the
faster than
the
Tyreek Hill.
Tyreek. Yeah.
He beat him
Yeah.
faster than Tyreek.
He went all the way to the end zone with it.
He's a
Passing
mobile
touchdown.
Manning.
The times he's been getting in Texas, he's been looking very, very good. And Quentin
Quinn
Ewers,
Ewers.
when I say when he gets back healthy, I still think he should still get the job
Agreed.
because Arch Manning has his time. He has his time to be the starter in the future. If if
Yeah.
if Ewers gets healthy, it's his time. He's going to come out in the draft next year. So help your boy out. You know what I'm saying? If you're Texas, help your guy out. Don't make him look bad. But Arch Manning, if he blows things through the roof, I wouldn't be surprised if they say, "Hey, look, Ewers take some time coming back."
Yeah.
Uh,
There's yeah.
next, Guardian Caps in game. I know we talked about this on the radio station. Are you a fan of Guardian Caps or are you not a fan of Guardian Caps in game?
I'm not a fan of how they look. I'm a fan of what they do.
My fault, chat. Battery went dead, but we will switch it out right quick. You can keep talking, Vance.
So I'm not a fan of how they look, but I'm a fan of what they do. And I think you and I discussed this. Tua needs one. I
Yeah,
don't
for
like how they
sure.
look, but again, I don't care how they look as long as they keep the players safe. Tua needs one. If he wants to keep playing, I think he should wear one. Um, am I a fan of him? Absolutely. Because if it can prolong a career, absolutely wear one. I think it's well worth it.
I think Tua needs to wear one most definitely. Like he needs one. He definitely needs one. Let's put this background back up. But Tua definitely needs one. Guardian Caps, if you trying to protect your head, dude, it's the way to go, bro. So hey, look, I'm not going against it. If you want to protect yourself by all means. Last one, Kendrick Lamar, halftime Super Bowl. Fan or not a fan, Vance? How do you feel about that?
I
You
don't
know they had
really.
an argument
I'm
about
not a
Lil
huge.
Wayne and stuff like that.
Yeah, I'm not a huge rap fan. I don't mind it, but I will say I would have expected
Makes sense.
Lil Wayne because he is from New Orleans.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
Kendrick Lamar's
There's a
from
big yeah.
Compton. I would have expected Kendrick Lamar 2 to 3 years ago when they were in SoFi in Los Angeles because he's from South Central Los Angeles. I would have expected Lil Wayne, but again, I'm not a huge rap
Yeah, I'm
fan. I don't hate
surprised
it.
that Kendrick didn't come out for that one.
Yeah,
Um,
they brought Snoop
yeah.
out. I get that, but like for
All
me,
right.
what I will say, I don't. I'm not a huge Kendrick fan. I'm not a huge rap fan. I don't mind. Fan of it, sure. He's got good music.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think it's very disrespectful that you didn't consider maybe
Lil
Lil
Wayne.
Wayne. I did hear that they did have a conversation with him or whatnot uh about
But what
him
what is
doing
what do
one.
they mean by conversation?
Sorry, let me get my camera right.
But what do they
There we
mean
go.
by conversation? Was it just
I mean, I
hey,
guess because Jay-Z's involved. I heard that Jay-Z and him had somewhat of an altercation back then, so maybe it had somewhat to do with Lil Wayne
yeah,
not getting that part. Um, like I said, from New Orleans, but we've had New Orleans Super Bowls in the past, and Lil Wayne was way hotter back then than now. And with Kendrick Lamar being hot now, the Drake diss and not like us and stuff like that. I think people want to hear that more at a Super Bowl than Lil Wayne right now. And I, maybe Kendrick Lamar does have a conversation with Lil Wayne and says, "Hey, join me on stage at a certain part." Maybe they had that conversation, but with Drake and Lil Wayne's relationship being so close, I don't see it happening. I'm there's a little sadness for Lil Wayne, but there's Super Bowls down the line. You don't have to necessarily be in New Orleans to perform Lil Wayne. You're a great artist. You had great
yeah,
music. So Kendrick Lamar is just hot right now. We're going with Kendrick Lamar. But hey, that is me, Dino. My guy Vance inside the lines, baby. You tune in. Hit that subscribe button. Check us out through the weekend, through
We'll
the
be back
week.
this
We'll be yes, sir. Yes, sir. Hey, hit that subscribe button. Like I said, check out my channel at Lace 'em Up Sports Talk Show and stuff like that. I'll see y'all soon, baby. Peace out.